Hi, I'm Rebecca White, and along with Paige Rower, we are directors at Tourism eSchool, and we've worked with local government and regional tourism bodies and tourism operators all around Australia for the last 7 years, and helping them with destination marketing, visitor servicing strategy at the regional level, and also training tourism operators in best practice digital marketing. So in this short video, this is an excerpt from our Visitor Servicing and Destination Marketing Bootcamp. It's an annual program we run, and this is Module 1, and just showing you and taking you through some of the key visitor trends and destination marketing and visitor servicing reality in 2019, and hopefully it will give you some insights and ideas moving forward when it comes to thinking about budgeting, resourcing structures and memberships for your destination or region. So what I'm going to cover in this video is firstly looking at visitor trends and where they are at, also then looking at visitor servicing reality and also destination marketing reality and how that has changed how we market and look after our visitors and grow our visitor economies. So first up, having a look at visitor trends. So understanding what the current trends are is a really important foundation step in creating a relevant visitor servicing and marketing strategy for any tourism brand. And specifically, I'm talking to you as local government or regional tourism body. So in this section, we're going to take a look at how our visitors' travel journey has changed, some of the more significant changes to the Australian tourism market, and how we can influence them through strategic marketing. So one of the major mindset changes destination marketers and managers really need to think about is that tourism isn't like what it used to be, and visitors have very different needs and motivations for travel. And this means we have to change the way we think about visitors. So thinking about them from instead of a tourist to a temporary local. So once upon a time, we had to physically experience a destination to understand what it was about. And even then, we were given a very touristy type experience, one which was easily multiplied for the masses. So these days, we as consumers are so much more informed of what we want to achieve on our holidays and what a destination can offer. And we really seek out something special, something more intimate than other holiday makers. We want to integrate into the local community, blend in, and really get a feel for living rather than holidaying in a destination. What this means for destination marketers is that rather than seeing our destination as a list of products, we need to leverage the stories within our destination that resonate with our high-yielding visitor personas. Part for our visitors to feel like local is they're really looking for those immersive, local, personalised experiences. Their expectations are of really high quality, personalised experiences with a short lead time will represent both an opportunity and a challenge for destinations, particularly regarding opening hours, seasonal operations, and finding good quality staff. And looking at the screen here, this is a lovely example of on Norfolk Island, so traditional hat weaving, and visitors can join in and do hat weaving with local residents. So again, very immersive, very local, and very personalised is really what visitors are looking for. Also, people can now list experiences on Airbnb, which once it was just for accommodation, but now users are shown a curated list of bookable experiences within the location of their accommodation. And interestingly enough, very easy now for just any local resident to jump on board and also provide these very local or personalised and authentic experiences. Also, there is a growing area of interest from people who travel for their interests and passion, and they're also very happy to pay for it, and events fall under this as well. So massive growth in this area of travel, of hobbies or interests could be things like gardening, photography, cycling, mountain biking, and even quilting, believe it or not. So these interest groups are easily able to connect online through social media and will travel for their interest if the right product is offered. As an example, which you can see on the screen here, mountain biking is a very strong travel niche of people who will take their bikes and stay and ride in a destination who can offer them a fantastic cycling experience. So the team at Tourism Central Australia, for example, are actively promoting their mountain biking experiences and really want to be known as the best destination to have that experience. And similarly, Derby in northern Tasmania is a small town that have built amazing mountain trails in the last few years for cyclists and have built the local visitor economy essentially from scratch in recent years thanks to this niche. Second thing we need to consider is that our visitors are seeking out recommendations and trust what travellers say more than what a brand says about yourself. So with the overwhelming number of media channels and avenues for people to plan a trip, people are increasingly turning to sources they trust when making purchase decisions. And this study that we're looking on screen is of over 59,000 people from 60 countries were asked what is their number one most trusted form of advertising. And what we're looking at here is the Australian results for that study, and the results found that number one most trusted form of advertising is recommendations from people I know, and number two is consumer opinion posted online. This trend is absolutely reflected globally, and again, this study is from Nielsen, they're a global ad agency, and it's very easy to get your hands on a copy of this, or you can talk to the team if you'd like a link to read this research more. Another study quoted by Skift.com, who are a leading global travel media agency, backed this up, which found that 92% of consumers trust peer recommendations more than adverts. And also 83% of people have made a word of mouth recommendation in the last 30 days from Convince and Convert. So our visitors are using so many online platforms to talk about their holiday experiences online, which is really great for those who are researching their upcoming trip. So it's an absolute non-negotiable that destinations are engaging with these stories on these platforms to leverage their positive advocacy and to also get on the front foot if there is any negative comments about their destination. Number three, the third consideration is that when it comes to visitors is that they expect to engage differently and are influenced by a large number of convenient sources to find destination information. So the use of mobile has introduced the snacking of content and information online as opposed to really long research sessions. So through their research portal, Think with Google, have noticed that over the past few years, people are snacking on content on their mobile phones up to 150 times a day. And Google has dubbed this snacking behaviour micro moments. So this is just an example here straight from the research where they tracked consumer Amy, who had 419 micro moments as she planned her trip over 2 months, with 87% of the digital moments happening on mobile device. So the real challenge again for tourism marketers is to be there for their high yield visitor personas when they need you in those particular moments. So again, throughout what people have learned or your colleagues are learning is how to sort of win these micro moments, whether it's through content marketing, social media, website marketing, or search engine optimization, and really understanding those different touch points. And also our visitors are becoming more connected and they're absolutely embracing new technologies and platforms. So looking forward into the future, towards 2030, where a lot of us are, where a lot of tourism planning is heading, a decade is a very long time in the digital economy. And while it's impossible to really predict the direction that technology will take us in the next decade, it's likely to be disruptive and to present new opportunities and challenges. But again, we have to follow what our consumers, what our visitors are using, how they're using different digital technology and adapting our marketing to meet those needs. There's also a huge opportunity now too to make sure that tourism brands are featuring the right information that's accessible on mobile for visitors when they're in destination, because around 85% of travellers decide on activities only after having arrived in a destination. So this is also where online visitor servicing is very, very important. And visitors also from here in Australia, but across the globe, are also, bringing with them expectations that tourism brands will be embracing the new technologies and digital platforms that emerge. So a perfect example of this is the use of instant chat, such as on Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp. And again, consumers really expect to connect with brands, and you as destination marketers and visitor servicing managers need to be embracing this as well. So now we're aware of the major changes from a visitor's perspective, let's have a look and let's use that information as a lens when we look at how destination marketing has evolved to suit them and their changing needs and behaviours. So the first key thing here is to understand is that number one, a destination's brand is not a logo. Your destination's brand for your region or your town is what visitors say about your destination. So a brand is no longer what we tell the consumer is, it is what consumers tell each other it is. So this is so important to understand. And so again, too often we see regions being hung up on conversations around their logo and their regional name. End of the day, while it's important we have consistency, it really doesn't matter or really will affect whether visitors come or not, because end of the day, your brand of your region or your little towns is essentially the sum of all the stories that someone hears about it and the sum of all the experiences that someone actually has when they're in your destination. So traditionally, destination marketing organisations have been the custodians of their regional brand. So you can see the little white dot on the screen. But these days, the content that a destination marketing organisation can create and share about our region is literally just a drop in the ocean in comparison to the stories that are being shared about that destination by other people. So we can try and invest time and money in branding our regions, or we could look at leveraging the brand stories that are being shared by our hyper-connected, socially mobile visitors who are sharing videos and photos and reviews about our destinations, as they provide much greater impact, influence and amplification of our brand. So when we talk about brand, this basically means that we now need to consider that our visitors are our brand custodians. So destinations really need to let go of trying to control our region's messaging and rather guide and leverage the stories that are generated by those who are sharing their stories online. This is a really, really important slide and is a foundation for pretty much all destination marketing, content marketing, social media in this day and age. So a couple of quick ways of destinations can generate brand stories online through visitors is to firstly encourage more discussions between your brand and your communities, particularly on social media. So this is a lovely example here of that brand to peer engagement. So the team at Cocos Keeling Island Tourism had posted this brilliant and engaging post on mud crabs, and you can see in the comments that they had were engaging with, interacting and communicating with the people in their community as well, building that relationship and trust and engagement. And another way, really great way to stimulate brand storytelling is to encourage more discussions between people in your community. So this is really some of the most valuable marketing you can have. So, and again, an example here is peer-to-peer engagement, which is the ultimate aim of your social media investment. So the South Australian Tourism Commission has shared a fantastic picture here of Tress Trail Cottages, which is in South Australia in the Clare Valley. So from there, you can see lots of comments of people basically tagging their partners and friends and encouraging them to sort of consider this place in upcoming itineraries. So really putting the Clare Valley tourism region on the awareness list for a lot of people that may not have already otherwise known about it. So this quote from Destination Think sums up this section really well, that destinations typically want to be the band when they really need to be the stage when it comes to destination branding. So rather than controlling the brand message by throwing loads of money at brand advertising, destination marketers simply need to set the stage for storytelling to evolve between people who love their region. And so to move on to the next really important consideration when it comes to destination marketing is that travellers will become destination advocates when they have exceptional experiences. And really, to create our trusted advocates, we need to make sure that our destination is full of exceptional tourism experiences. So we really need to have a mindset that destination marketing is actually as much about product development. And so it's been found in various studies, but the one we're looking at here on the screen is that by the year 2020, which is only next year, customer experiences will overtake price as a key brand differentiator. If you think about your own travel purchase decisions, I know certainly a lot of our operators seeing this already, that, if you are looking to compare two similar experiences, price is often less important than which one's going to give you the better experience. So a really good example of this is the Riesling Trail in the Clare Valley tourism region. So interestingly, they have a fairly small and low profile in the online presence. They really don't have great digital footprint, but because the experience on the ground is so fantastic, people are talking about it and becoming word of mouth advocates both on and offline for the Riesling Trail. So if you head over onto TripAdvisor, they've got a huge number of really great quality reviews, which is helping them rank up as the top experience to do when you're in the Clare Valley tourism region. And also you can see it's being talked about online without really any proactive work from the regional tourism body as yet. So again, marketing can be done by your visitors when you have that fantastic experience, and then when they're using and telling all these great stories, these stories can be reshared back into your own destination marketing activities, such as your own social media, website and blog storytelling. Thirdly, when it comes to destination marketing, is that successful destination marketing is less about advertising and more about leveraging brand advocates, which again builds on what we've just covered. So a major challenge in marketing best practice for destinations is the shift in mindset from traditional marketing to leveraging advocates. So this shift has been forced upon us because of the way consumer behaviour and influence has changed. So as I said earlier, potential visitors are going to be more influenced by the stories that other people share than the stories a destination marketing organisation can craft and share. So essentially, we've got all these destination visitors out there sharing their own stories. That then becomes the marketing for future visitors to come to our destinations. So visitors here, as again we can see here for the Orange 360 guys. So the Orange 360 hashtag gets lots of fantastic use by visitors and locals alike. But also really important that we engage our local communities, become advocates for our destinations. Our local communities welcome in visiting friends and relatives. So having a really strong focus on making sure our local residents and other local supporting businesses, not just tourism operators, are getting on board and sharing our story is absolutely fantastic. And digital influencers also have a really important resource for destinations. They have spent time building engaged audiences within their specific niche. So they too are great opportunities when you have the right one to share and grow stories in the online space to attract new visitors to your region. Finally, there is, and it should go without saying really, is that there is no point investing in any marketing activities for your destination unless it can be measured. So for most organisations, there's sort of 3 tiers of key performance indicators. So sort of starting at the top, increasing visitor expenditure in a destination is sort of the ultimate game for most destination marketing strategies. Local governments are also usually fairly interested in a high level of jobs and business growth as well. From there, moving down to the next level, you then have your marketing and visitor servicing goals. And so these are goals that are measured in things like regional awareness, perception, engagement, intent to travel, leads and bookings, visitor experience, visitor service, and visitor advocacy. And then the last level of measurement relates to setting specific and measurable objectives as it relates to the implementation of those marketing tactics above or visitor servicing. So for example, engagement on social media, conversions on your website, numbers of visitors that have been serviced online or phone calls that you've taken in your visitor centre. All of these need to be set, measured and reported on. And we have a rule for all marketing and visitor servicing investment that is whatever you invest in, it needs to have a laser focus on one of your high yielding visitor personas. So it needs to be the right story on the right channel and targeting a specific stage of your customer's purchase journey. And it also needs to be very much measurable. So being super clear on who are the high yielding visitor personas or those niche interest segments in your region that you're going after. What's the right story in the channel for them at what stage of travel, and then measuring and realigning it as well, making sure it's performing and providing that return on investment. And then the final section is we're going to have a look at visitor servicing reality. So visitor centres, as we all know, are a costly enterprise to run, and the financial sustainability of running visitor centres is certainly being looked at very closely around Australia. So the Australian Regional Tourism Network facilitated a survey and report for local government and spend in tourism, which was run back in 2015 and 16, to identify the average cost of running a visitor centre. And what they found was that on average, 35 cents of every tourism dollar via local government is invested in the operation of a visitor centre. In comparison to other tourism investments made by local government, the cost of running a visitor centre is considerable, especially when we look here at things like destination marketing, events and festivals, and planning product development. And when we've just talked about how important it is to have those exceptional experiences on the ground, especially for local governments that are delivering the experiences, this is a major challenge and certainly something to take into consideration when looking at budget allocations as well. And so while the financial commitment of visitor centres is on the mind of councils as a significant cost, it was also clear from the report that the visitor economy is high on council's agenda, with the potential of tourism recognised as a really sustainable economic driver for regions. So visitor centres were, and once upon a time also were, a go-to for all destination information. And they can still absolutely add value if they focus on the visitor. And so, given the change in visitor behaviour and the amount of information available online, the trend that we are certainly starting to see across Australia is that less and less people are using visitor centres. So, while visitors don't want a wall of brochures, they do absolutely want personalised, professional, and local advice. So, they really must be able to add value to the traveller's experience, and brochure racking just simply won't do. So Destination Think really hit the nail on the head with this one, which said if visitors happen to find a visitor centre, they'll probably wander in, why not? But they no longer see it as a must-do when they arrive, and that's a fundamental change. But in saying all that though, recently Victoria invested in a Victorian Accredited Visitor Information Servicing Survey, which investigated how accredited visitor centres influence visitors' yield and length of stay. And some of the key insights from this December 2018 report found that 93% of people that visited attractions and experiences that they otherwise would not have without visiting an accredited visitor centre. And also 1 in 5 visitors stayed longer after visiting an accredited visitor centre. And so there is certainly great merit in having a bricks and mortar visitor centre, but it must also be an experience itself. So again, visitors don't necessarily need VIC anymore, so the visitor servicing model absolutely must have to adapt. So, and again, if we think back to Amy and her micro moments of content snacking leading up to her trip, it's evident that the majority of travellers across all generational cohorts are turning to the internet to source their basic information. So visitor servicing for any destination is typically limited to the following. So they're doing a bit in the offline space, so in the booking, pre-travel and in-destination stage, and then also in the online space through their website, uploading their visitor guides to their website, that sort of thing. But the good news is that there are many new ways that traditional visitor servicing models can extend their current servicing offering to those who don't visit them in person. So visitor servicing opportunities exist along the whole purchase journey for customers. And again, lots of different ways that you can extend that influence and reach of your visitor servicing activities with the right resourcing in your destination. And the final very important consideration when it comes to visitor servicing is it is absolutely a team effort. It's not something that should now be just left to your visitor servicing team. So essentially in a destination, you've got a number of different stakeholders. We've got councils, we've got local residents, and we also have industry. And so we need absolutely all of them working together as well as our visitor servicing team to help with and engaging with our visitor servicing with visitors. So what happens if they don't collaborate? So when it comes to local government, they are some of the driving force behind local economies. And in some cases, councils' involvement in tourism can be limited to development policy, placemaking, access and infrastructure, which are really relevant for the greater community. However, some councils are very actively involved in the visitor economy with respect to owning and managing product, destination marketing and visitor servicing. So regardless of their role in the marketing and servicing space, they're still major contributors to many destination marketing organisations. So it's essential that they're engaged in the process. Otherwise, we may face issues such as shifting of goalposts with your strategic direction, struggling to maintain or gain budget and staff now and for future plans, and nil or low priority for visitor economy infrastructure, capital works and policy. Industry as well, they're also more likely to incline to collaborate, especially given the vested interest in the visitor economy. But measures must be taken to engage them in all marketing and visitor servicing initiatives. Otherwise, you might see a lack of engagement when it comes to campaigns, events and membership activities. Also lack of brand unification, duplication or wasting of resources. Duplicating and wasting of resources. And they're also already a key visitor servicing tool across the region, with many businesses providing destination planning advice and information to visitors whilst they plan their next trip to their part of destination. So there's a real opportunity to ensure that their staff are engaged in servicing and understanding the critical role that they play in improving dispersal and length of stay in a destination. And finally, our local residents are one of the best marketing assets for a destination because people are mostly very proud of where they live because, of course, they've chosen to live there. But they are mostly important because they are a major influencer with visiting friends and relatives. So many destinations have a very strong visiting friends and relatives market, which means that locals are not only inspiring people to visit a destination, but are also itinerary planning and hosts. Unfortunately, on the flip side, though, our locals can often be our destination's biggest hindrance, with many locals not liking too many visitors or any visitors at all and having that very negative perception of visitors. They can also have a negative mindset when it comes to their destination, believing that there's not much to do, which can lead to disgruntled groups who put a dampener on any initiatives for the destination, especially in the online space. And also, there's also a lack of buy-in with campaigns and activities, and certainly seeing that with some happening in South Australia at the moment as well. So when we're working with destinations, we've found that education on the value of tourism and also being really clear on what the sustainability plan is for tourism and what role they play for achieving the overall key performance indicators can really lead to great outcomes from locals and community groups. They really are an essential player and really do need their own activation strategy to help them understand how the visitor economy impacts their local jobs and lifestyle. So as we wrap up this video, it's important to know that every destination is different and it will have a very unique destination marketing and visitor servicing strategy based on the many influences in their region. So these are the region's experiences, how visitors access their region and their maturity, the number of tourism operators and their maturity, your ideal visitors or high yield visitors' needs and numbers, resources and other stakeholders in your region as well. So taking into consideration what we've just gone through, so visitor trends, destination marketing and visitor servicing reality, hopefully giving you really good food for thought for your organisation and your region moving forward. Cheers.